He forgot our 12th wedding anniversary, but somehow remembered to buy a $35,000 diamond necklace for a stranger named Ava? He called me too dramatic. So I handed the FBI one piece of evidence. That made him the lover of the prison instead. I spent the entire afternoon preparing for our 12th wedding anniversary dinner. The red dress Nathan once said he loved most, now a bit tight at the waist after 12 years and one child, hung carefully on the rack. The dining table was set with candles, his favorite Chateau Margaux 2010, and the beef Wellington I'd practiced making 3 times this week. While wrapping the meat for the Wellington, my hand paused for a second. I remembered the first time I made this dish, 10 years ago, our second anniversary. Nathan had hugged me from behind, kissed my neck, and whispered, "You're the best gift of my life." He meant it then. I know he meant it. When did that disappear? Or was it just an illusion of a young woman madly in love? "Mom, why are we eating so fancy tonight?" Ethan, my 11-year-old son, asked as he came down the stairs. "Today's a special day, sweetheart. It's Mom and Dad's wedding anniversary." At 7 p.m., when Nathan usually came home, I lit the candles, put on the red dress, and stood waiting with the smile I'd been preparing all day. But 7 o'clock passed. 7:30 passed. By 8 o'clock, the candles had burned down a third of the way. I called Nathan. It rang 5 times, then went to voicemail. At 8:30, I called again. Nathan answered, his voice tired. "Sarah, I'm in an important meeting. Is it urgent?" Did you forget what today is?" "What day?" His voice genuinely didn't know. I heard a woman's laughter in the background. Comfortable laughter. Intimate. "Nothing. I'll tell you later." I hung up before the tears came. At 9 p.m., I blew out the candles, took off the sweat-dampened red dress, and sat alone in the darkness. Ethan had been asleep for who knows how long. The steak had gone cold and hard. My phone buzzed. A text from Nathan. "Babe, sorry. Meeting ran long. I'll be home around 11. Don't wait up." Not a single word about the anniversary. I looked at the wedding ring on my finger. Simple 14K gold. No diamond. Nathan said back then, we were young, didn't have money, we'd get a nicer ring later. 12 years later, that promise had never materialized. At 10:30 p.m., the garage door opened. Nathan was home. I sat on the sofa in the darkness, hadn't turned on the lights yet. I heard the keys, the footsteps, his tired sigh. Nathan tossed his suit jacket on the chair, the familiar motion every time he came home, then went straight upstairs without even glancing at the living room. I stood up, turned on the light. The dining table was still there, candles extinguished, wine unopened, food cold. Food. On the chair, Nathan's suit jacket. I stared at it for a long time. In 12 years of marriage, I'd never searched my husband's pockets. I trusted him. I respected his privacy. But today I needed to understand. My hands trembled as I opened the jacket pocket. Inside, company phone, leather wallet, some business cards, and a small red velvet box. My heart pounded. A Cartier box. He did remember. He was just hiding it to surprise me. I opened the box with a smile. The first smile of this terrible evening. Inside was a sparkling diamond necklace, exquisite design, a heart-shaped pendant with at least 2 carats, breathtakingly beautiful, and on the inside of the pendant, engraved in elegant cursive, "To Ava, my forever love, N." Not my name, not Sarah. Ava. I stood there, the box in my hand, reading the engraved words again and again, as if looking at it enough times would change the meaning. Part of me, the small desperate part, still tried to find a reason. Maybe this was for a client? For a colleague's sister named Ava? Maybe the engraver made a mistake? But I knew. Deep in my heart, I knew. It felt like someone had just punched me in the stomach. My lungs couldn't breathe. My heart beat too fast. The phone in the jacket pocket vibrated. I grabbed it. Not the familiar black company phone, but another iPhone, navy blue, one I didn't know Nathan had. A message from AVA. Baby, I've been waiting for you at the hotel for 2 hours. Are you coming? I'm wearing the outfit you like, and I'm so excited about the surprise you promised today. Love you. Surprise. The $35,000 necklace Nathan had prepared for a woman named Ava. While I, his wife of 12 years, stood alone with a cold dinner. My hands shook as I opened the phone's history. Part of me wanted to throw it away, not look, pretend I never found it. Go back to the comfortable, safe life. But another part, the part that had been silent for 12 years, whispered, "You deserve to know the truth." I scrolled through the messages, hundreds of them. Photos, Ava smiling in fancy restaurants, Ava in evening gowns, Ava lying on a hotel bed with an inviting smile. Short videos, Nathan's voice saying, "I love you, baby," in a tone I didn't recognize. The most recent message, sent at 6:45 p.m. Baby, I'll be a bit late. Wife has some drama about the wedding anniversary. I forgot. But don't worry, I'll handle it quickly, then come to you. Tonight is our night. I have something special for you. Wife has some drama, not Sarah, not my wife, just wife. Like a job, an obligation that needed handling. 12 years of marriage, I was called drama. While Ava, the woman I'd never met, was called baby, promised forever love, given a $35,000 diamond. I sat down on the floor, still holding the Cartier box. The pieces were starting to fall into place. The late nights Nathan came home. The urgent business trips. The calls he had to take outside. The way he looked at me lately. No longer loving, just tolerating. I scrolled further. Contacts. Not just Ava. There was also Isabella, Melissa, Sophie, 4 women's names, 4 babies. And I, the legal wife, wasn't even a name in this phone's contacts. I heard water running from upstairs. Nathan was showering, washing off her perfume, preparing to get in bed with me as if nothing had happened. "Sarah, what are you doing down there?" I jumped. Nathan stood at the top of the stairs, wearing pajamas, hair still wet. I quickly stood up, hiding the box and phone behind my back. "Nothing, just cleaning up." Nathan came downstairs, looked at the dining table with the extinguished candles. His face showed a flicker of something. Regret? Or just annoyance at being reminded? "You cooked? Sorry I'm home late. Meeting ran longer than expected." "Meeting," I repeated, trying to keep my voice calm. "With whom?" "Client from Houston, boring stuff." Nathan walked over, touched my shoulder. "You're tired. Let's go to bed." Nathan kissed my forehead, a habitual kiss, soulless, then went upstairs. I stood alone in the living room, still holding the Cartier box and the second phone behind my back, listening to Nathan's footsteps disappear into the bedroom. The man I slept next to every night, the father of my son, the person I'd given 12 years of my life to. I had no idea who he was. And the scariest thing, if he could lie to me about one mistress, no, 4 mistresses, what else could he lie to me about? That was the moment I decided. I won't be silent. I won't accept this. I'll find out the truth, no matter how brutal it is. Because if Nathan could forget our 12-year anniversary to give diamonds to someone else, he was capable of far worse things. And I needed to know, before it was too late. The next morning, Nathan woke up early as usual, 6 o'clock a.m., showered, dressed in his suit, went down to the kitchen to make coffee. I pretended to sleep, watching him through the crack in the bedroom door. He checked both phones, work and personal. He smiled at something on the second phone's screen, a smile I hadn't seen directed at me in years. Typed a quick reply, then carefully tucked it into his inside jacket pocket. I watched Nathan and saw a painful truth. He wasn't rushed, wasn't worried, didn't show a trace of guilt. This was his routine, as natural as eating breakfast. How many mornings had I missed this scene? How many years had he been doing this right in front of me without me knowing? Are you awake? Nathan called out. I waited 3 seconds, then answered in a sleepy voice. Yes. Where are you going so early? I have a 7:30 meeting. I'll be home late tonight. Honey, I came down the stairs, still in my nightgown. About yesterday. Nathan was already at the door, keys in hand. His face showed impatience. What about it? Yesterday was our 12th wedding anniversary. 3 seconds of silence. I saw panic flash through Nathan's eyes, so fast I almost thought I imagined it. Then the perfect mask of a regretful husband returned. Oh God, Sarah, I'm so sorry. Work's been crazy. I'll make it up to you this weekend, okay? This weekend, when the Cartier necklace would already be around Ava's neck. Okay, I'll wait. I smiled, the smile of an understanding wife. My mask was as perfect as Nathan's. When the door closed, I stood by the window watching Nathan drive out of the garage. Black Mercedes S-Class, the license plate I knew by heart. But instead of turning left toward downtown to his office, Nathan turned right, toward uptown. Two voices argued in my head. Don't follow, don't become that paranoid wife. You know the truth already. Don't lie to yourself anymore. I ran upstairs, quickly changed clothes, called Margaret, my mother-in-law. Mom, can you take Ethan to school? I have something urgent. Of course, dear. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, Mom. I lied to my mother-in-law for the first time. Can you come right away? I'll be there in 10 minutes. 15 minutes later, I drove the BMW X7 following Nathan's route. It wasn't hard to find. Last night while he showered, I'd secretly attached an AirTag to his briefcase. Looking at the iPhone screen directing me, I suddenly realized I'd become the person I swore I'd never be, the wife who spies on her husband. A year ago, if someone told me about a woman doing these things, I would have thought, she's paranoid, shouldn't get married if you don't trust your husband. Now I was that woman, and the scariest thing, I didn't feel guilty at all. The iPhone directed me. Four Seasons Hotel, McKinney Avenue. I parked at the corner, put on sunglasses, wore a baseball cap. Tried to breathe steadily. Maybe this really was a business meeting. But when I looked at my watch, 7:45 a.m., I knew. Nathan's 7:30 meeting was here, with her. At 7:55 a.m., Nathan appeared in the lobby, not alone. The girl next to him was about 26, 27 years old, tall, fair-skinned, with long chocolate-brown dyed hair. Wearing a sleek business dress but form-fitting, red high heels, beautiful in an elegant, professional way. I sat in the car, hands on the steering wheel, watching my husband with another woman. Nathan held her hand, a natural, familiar motion, like he used to hold mine 12 years ago, stroked her hair, leaned down to whisper something that made her laugh. The way Nathan looked at that girl. That was how he used to look at me. Infatuated eyes, the eyes of a man in love. Eyes I hadn't seen from Nathan in at least 5 years. And in that moment, sitting alone in the car, watching my husband love another woman, I understood a painful truth. It wasn't that Nathan had lost the ability to love. He just no longer devoted those things to me. He still bought flowers, for someone else. Still wrote sweet messages, for someone else. Still expressed affection, with someone else. I wasn't lacking affection because Nathan was too busy. I was being replaced. They entered the elevator together. I waited 5 minutes, wiped my tears, took a deep breath, then went into the lobby. Had to stay calm, had to be smart. I approached the front desk, where a young woman was working. Excuse me, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. I need to confirm a reservation. My husband, Mr. Nathan Martinez, does he have a room here? The receptionist looked at her computer. Ma'am, I can't disclose guest information. I understand. I showed my driver's license and credit card statement, showing a Four Seasons charge of $8,500 month. This is me, Sarah Martinez, legal wife. And here's the statement showing my husband charges $8,500 every month. I just want to confirm, Suite 1847, right? I said a random number but with confident authority. The receptionist hesitated, looked around, then nodded slightly, an unconscious nod. That was enough. I knew. Are there other suites? I asked. Suite 2156 and 1623? This time the receptionist looked at me with the sympathetic eyes of another woman. A girl who'd seen too many men like Nathan. She didn't say anything, but her eyes said it all. 3 suites, 3 women, 1 perfect schedule. Thank you. I gave her $100. You never had this conversation with me. I went outside, sat in the car, hands shaking too much to hold the steering wheel. Nathan wasn't just cheating, he was running an operation. I called the only number I knew could help, Elizabeth Reeves, a divorce lawyer. Elizabeth, this is Sarah Martinez. I need an urgent appointment. Sarah? What's going on? My husband. My voice shook. I think my husband is cheating, and I think it's much worse than a typical affair. Pause. Come to my office at 2 p.m. Bring whatever evidence you have. As I drove home, only one thought in my head. I need more evidence, and I know where it is. That afternoon, before meeting Elizabeth, I needed more evidence. Nathan wouldn't be home until 8 p.m. Ethan had soccer practice until 6 p.m. I had 2 hours. 2 hours to break into my husband's office in our own home. Nathan's office was always locked when he was away. Confidential company documents, he said. For 12 years, I'd respected that privacy. I remembered the conversation 3 years ago, when Nathan installed a new lock. I need my own space, you understand, right? I understand. I'll never go in there when you're not home. Nathan had smiled, kissed my forehead. You're the perfect wife. At the time, I thought it was a compliment. Now I understood. He was training me not to ask, not to suspect, not to invade his private space. And I'd followed perfectly. For 12 years, I'd never touched that door. I was the perfect wife. And that's why Nathan felt safe hiding everything inside. The spare key Nathan hid in the garage behind the toolbox. He didn't know I knew. I'd found it last year while cleaning. Hands trembling, I opened the office door. A masculine workspace, mahogany desk, black leather chair, bookshelves full of certificates and awards. Photos of Nathan shaking hands with clients, receiving awards, standing next to politicians. Everything about Nathan Martinez, successful businessman, devoted husband, loving father, all lies. Filing cabinet in the corner, locked. But where was the key? 12 years living with someone, you learn their habits. Nathan had a quirk. He hid important things in places too obvious, because he believed everyone would think it was too obvious to be a hiding spot. Like his laptop password, Ethan's birthday. Like his ATM PIN, our wedding day. Like his security question answer, my name. Nathan hid all important things behind family-related items because he thought that was the safest place. The thick dictionary on the bookshelf, Webster's Family Dictionary, a gift Margaret gave us when we first married. I lifted it down, heavier than normal, opened it, hollow inside, and inside, a small key. Bingo. I opened the filing cabinet. Inside, folders with neat labels. Finance, offshore. I opened it. Bank statements from the Cayman Islands, Panama, Switzerland. Accounts I didn't know existed. The amounts made me dizzy. $8.3 million. $8 million in offshore accounts Nathan had never mentioned. I photographed every page, hands shaking so much many photos came out blurry. Real estate. Property deeds for 3 condos in Dallas. 1 in Uptown, 1 in Arts District, 1 in Knox Henderson. Each worth $400,000 to $600,000. Documents showed tenants: Ava Chen, Uptown; Isabella Rodriguez, Arts District; Melissa Park, Knox Henderson. Nathan wasn't just booking hotel rooms. He was providing housing for his mistresses, buying homes for them. With our money he said was invested in business. I remembered last year's conversation. Honey, why is our account so low? I thought we'd have more savings after such a successful year. Babe, I told you. I'm reinvesting in business, real estate opportunities. Trust me, this is a long-term investment for Ethan's future. Real estate opportunities. He wasn't completely lying. It's just that the real estate was apartments for his mistresses. Personal, confidential. The thickest folder. I opened it and wanted to vomit. Contracts. Contracts with the letterhead of Wilson and Associates Law Firm. Relationship agreement between Nathan Martinez and Ava Chen, dated January 15, 2023. I read through it, each line like a slap in the face. Main terms. Ava receives $5,000 month allowance. Free uptown apartment. Utilities paid, $2,000 month shopping budget. Luxury vacations. 2 times year jewelry. Minimum $10,000 year. In exchange, exclusive availability. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, 6 p.m., 11 p.m. Discretion about relationship. No social media posting. Professional appearance at business events when required. No romantic involvement with others during contract term. Regular STD testing. Results must be shared. There were 2 similar contracts for Isabella and Melissa. Same terms, different dates, different allowance amounts. Isabella, $4,500 month, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Melissa, $4,000 month, weekends. These weren't love affairs, these were employment contracts. Nathan was treating these women like employees, like assets, arranging schedules like booking meeting rooms. And the scariest thing? The contracts were very professional, legally drafted, with signatures, dates, witnesses. Nathan wasn't acting impulsively. He was running this like a business about human beings. Then I saw the smaller folder. Recruitment. Inside, resumes, professional headshots, background investigation reports, credit reports, social media analyses. 10 women, ages 24 to 29. All beautiful, educated, with student debt or financial problems. Notes beside each file in Nathan's handwriting. Ava Chen, Columbia Art History, 150K debt, working retail. Ambitious, sophisticated, good with clients. Approved, signed 11523. Isabella Rodriguez, Texas State, 120K debt, visa issues, F1 overstay. Vulnerable, needs sponsorship, beautiful, cultured. Approved, signed 8/20/23. Melissa Park, single mother, 80K medical debt, daughter's cancer treatment. Desperate, will be grateful. Pretty, discreet. Approved, signed 3/10/23. Sophie Chen, rejected. Too independent, has family support, cannot control. Jennifer Wu, rejected. Too young, 22. Potential legal issues. Nathan was systematically targeting vulnerable women. These weren't romances that arose from attraction. This was systematic, procedural, predatory behavior. He looked for beautiful, educated women, sophisticated enough to appear publicly with him. But they had to have financial desperation, something that made them vulnerable enough to accept the terms. He rejected those too independent or too young, not out of ethics, but risk management. Nathan wasn't a romantic fool having affairs. He was a predator with a business model. I photographed every page, then searched more. A USB drive in the bottom drawer, handwritten label, Insurance Confidential. I plugged it into Nathan's laptop left on the desk. Password? I tried. Ethan's birthday? 08/15/2013. Laptop opened. Of course. Nathan was predictable with important things. He trusted his system. The obedient wife would never enter the office, and if by some miracle she did, she'd never guess the password. The folder opened. Video files. Dozens. organized by date and name. I clicked the first file, wanted to close it immediately but forced myself to watch. Luxurious hotel suite, looked like the Four Seasons. Nathan and an Asian man about 50 years old, expensive suit, stern face. Not Ava, Isabella, or Melissa in the video. Another young girl, looked Asian, very young, maybe early 20s or younger. She wore a cocktail dress, but her body language was all wrong, hunched, scared, no eye contact. Nathan and the man were having a business conversation. I turned up the volume. Nathan. Mr. Tanaka, as discussed, this is May. She's very accommodating, speaks a bit of English. Completely discreet. Tanaka. Her papers? Nathan. Student visa. Technically expired, but nobody checks. She needs money to stay, so she's motivated to please. Tanaka looked at the girl like inspecting merchandise. How much? Nathan. For the evening, $20,000. If you want longer-term arrangements, we can discuss. Tanaka reached into his briefcase, pulled out a stack of cash, counted it on the table. Nathan counted it again, nodded satisfied. Nathan. Pleasure doing business. May, you take good care of Mr. Tanaka, okay? May nodded, said nothing. Dead eyes. Nathan left. The camera kept recording, a hidden camera May didn't know about. I didn't watch more. I knew what would happen next. Second video. Similar situation. Different girl, different man. Younger girl, looked Latina. Same dead eyes. I was about to vomit. I ran to the bathroom in Nathan's office, threw up in the sink until there was nothing left in my stomach. Washed my face with cold water, but couldn't erase the images from my head. Nathan wasn't just keeping mistresses with contracts. He was brokering women, young, vulnerable women, possibly undocumented, to business partners. The girls in those videos weren't Ava or Isabella, who at least had choice, had contracts. These were different girls. Girls with no names, no contracts, no choice. The man I married, the father of my child, was a human trafficker. A knock on the door made me jump. Mom, where are you? Ethan, home from practice. I'm here, honey. I wiped my mouth, tried to compose myself. Coming down. I quickly copied the USB to the cloud, closed the laptop, locked the office. When I went down, Ethan was in the kitchen drinking water. Are you sick, Mom? He looked at me worried. No, just tired. Go take a shower. I'll order pizza. When Ethan went upstairs, I sat down on the kitchen floor, held my head. I needed a plan, needed a lawyer, needed to protect Ethan. But first, I needed to breathe. Needed to realize that the man I'd trusted for 12 years was a stranger, was a criminal. And I needed to decide, stay silent to protect this comfortable life or speak up and risk losing everything. 2 p.m., Elizabeth Reeves' office in downtown Dallas. High-rise building, beautiful view, leather chairs, everything screamed, expensive lawyer. But Elizabeth was the only one I trusted. Sarah. Elizabeth, 45 years old, gray hair, professional black suit, shook my hand. Thanks for coming. Coffee? No, thank you. I need help. Elizabeth sat down, opened her notepad. Tell me everything. I started from the beginning. The forgotten anniversary, the Cartier box, Four Seasons Hotel, 3 suites, 3 women, offshore accounts, contracts, and worst of all, the videos. Elizabeth listened without interrupting, but her face grew increasingly serious. Sarah, show me the evidence. I handed her my iPad. Photos of contracts, bank statements, property documents. Elizabeth scrolled through, occasionally stopping to zoom in on details. Where's the USB? I uploaded it to a private Google Drive. I gave her the login information. But Elizabeth, those videos, I don't know if I can use them. I got them by breaking into Nathan's office. Elizabeth looked at me seriously. That's an office in your own home, a house jointly owned by husband and wife? Yes. We bought the house in 2015, both names on the deed. Then there's no trespassing issue. It's your property, but Elizabeth paused. The issue is expectation of privacy. Nathan could argue that a locked office creates a reasonable expectation of privacy. So I can't use this evidence? Not so fast. In Texas, we have a doctrine that allows spouses to gather evidence of wrongdoing in marriage. And if the evidence shows illegal activity, like human trafficking, there's a public policy exception. Elizabeth opened her laptop. But we need to be careful. If we do this wrong, Nathan could argue fruit of the poisonous tree, and all evidence gets thrown out. So what do we do? Two parallel paths. 1. Divorce proceedings based on adultery and financial fraud, that's civil. 2. Criminal investigation for human trafficking, that's federal. Elizabeth typed notes. For divorce, we file based on adultery and fraud. Request temporary custody of Ethan, freeze all accounts. What about criminal? That's more complex. The videos you found, if they show trafficking, that's federal crime. But you can't just submit them, you need legal framework. What framework? We need to bring the FBI in legally. We approach the prosecutor's office with information about a potential trafficking network. But if I report, Nathan will know immediately. He'll destroy evidence, flee. Exactly. That's why we need to act fast and strategically. Elizabeth drew a timeline on the whiteboard. Here's the plan. Days 1-2. You continue acting normal at home. I prepare divorce papers and contact the prosecutor secretly. Days 3-4. We file for divorce and FBI opens investigation simultaneously. Nathan gets served papers at the same time. Accounts get frozen. Day 5+. Emergency custody hearing. Nathan likely to be arrested if FBI finds probable cause. I listened, trying to process. But temporary custody? Nathan will fight. He has money, has lawyers. Sarah, listen to me. Elizabeth was serious. Nathan is running a criminal organization. When the FBI investigates, the court will prioritize protecting Ethan. No judge wants a child living with a potentially dangerous criminal. What about the other women? Ava, Isabella, Melissa? We'll approach them carefully. They could be victims, could be willing participants, but their testimony will be crucial. Elizabeth paused. There's something else you need to know. If we proceed with this, your life will explode. Media attention, court battles, financial chaos. Nathan will fight dirty. Are you prepared for that? I thought about Ethan. About my 11-year-old son who believed his father was a hero. About the videos of those terrified girls. About myself, a woman who'd wasted 12 years with a monster. I'm ready, but I need to protect Ethan. My son can't know all these details. Understood. The court will seal records involving minors. Elizabeth opened another file on her laptop. One more thing about the FBI timeline. Normally, an international trafficking case like this takes months to build. But, she paused. Dmitry Volkov, the Russian man, he's been on the FBI's watch list for 2 years. They know about a trafficking network from Eastern Europe, but lack concrete evidence and U.S. connections. Your evidence, especially videos showing Nathan as intermediary between Volkov and American businessmen, this is the missing piece they need. That's why they can act quickly. Still too fast? I asked. Yes, but there are two urgent factors. 1, the meeting between Nathan and Volkov scheduled for this Friday. They need to stop it before more victims. 2, with Nathan's offshore accounts. He's a high flight risk. Elizabeth looked at me. So the FBI will use emergency procedures, but you need to understand, this means the next 3 days will be very stressful. You have to act completely normal with Nathan, no signs of suspicion, no behavior changes. Can you do that? I thought about having to lie next to Nathan tonight, tomorrow, the next day, knowing what he was, pretending I knew nothing. I'll do it. For Ethan. For those women. Elizabeth closed her laptop. Sarah, before we proceed, I need to ask, Are you absolutely certain? Once we file, there's no going back. Your marriage ends. Nathan will face criminal charges. Ethan's life changes forever. I looked into Elizabeth's eyes. Thought about the anniversary night, standing alone with cold dinner. About the Cartier necklace for Ava, my forever love. About the videos of girls being sold. I'm certain, let's do it. The next 3 days were the longest of my life, having to act normal with Nathan while knowing the truth, having to smile at Ethan when my heart was breaking, having to pretend everything was fine when the world was collapsing. Nathan continued his routine as if nothing had happened. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Working late. Tuesday, Thursday. Client dinners. I knew where he was, with whom, doing what, but I said nothing, just smiled and said, "Okay, honey, drive safe." Wednesday evening, Nathan came home at 9 p.m., after his meeting with Ava. The scent of Chanel No. 5 wafted past as he kissed my cheek. I had to bite my lip to keep from flinching away. "Honey, this weekend let's go to dinner? Make up for the anniversary." His voice was sweet, natural. No sign of guilt. "Sounds good." I smiled. I already made reservations at Ruth's Chris for Saturday night. Perfect. Nathan went upstairs to shower. I heard the water running, washing away her traces. I sat on the sofa, hands gripping a pillow, counting to 10. Breathing. Can't fall apart. Not yet. My phone buzzed. Text from Elizabeth. Prosecutor agreed to meet tomorrow 2 p.m. Bring USB. Don't tell Nathan anything. One more day. Just one more day of pretending. That night, after Nathan fell asleep, I got a call from Elizabeth. "Sarah, I just spoke with Margaret. I think you should know. She's really struggling." "My mother-in-law?" I sent her some evidence, contracts, offshore accounts, not the videos, just proof of the affairs and financial fraud. I thought she needed to prepare before FBI acts. Did she believe it? Elizabeth sighed. At first, no. She said, "No, not my Nathan." But then she started remembering signs, phone calls Nathan hid from her, the time she found expensive jewelry in Nathan's bag. Elizabeth paused. Margaret cried a lot. She said, "I thought I knew my son. How could I miss this?" My heart ached. She didn't fail. Nathan deceived all of us. I know. But Sarah, she wants to talk to you. She wants to apologize, and she wants to help. Help how? She'll testify if needed, and she wants to be with you and Ethan when FBI acts. Tears streamed down my face. Please thank her for me. After hanging up, I sat in the dark living room, listening to Nathan snore upstairs, and called Margaret. "Sarah, dear," Margaret's voice was hoarse. "Yes, Mom. Are you okay?" Silence, then soft crying. "Dear, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know Nathan was doing these things." "Mom, don't apologize. This isn't your fault. But I raised him. Somewhere I failed." "Mom, you taught Nathan about kindness, compassion, responsibility. Nathan chose to ignore those lessons. That's his choice, not your failure." Margaret cried harder. "You're so kind. After what my son did to you, you're still comforting me. Because you're a good person, and I need you now. Ethan needs you. I'll be there, whenever you need." Thursday morning. Confrontation with Ava. Before meeting the prosecutor, I needed to do one thing: talk to Ava. Nathan had a morning meeting with Isabella. Ethan was at school. I had a window of time. I drove to Ava's uptown condo, this time not hiding. It was time to confront. The condo door opened. Ava Chen stood there, still in pajamas, though it was 10 a.m. Beautiful even without makeup. Young, fresh, everything I no longer was. But this time, when I looked at her, I didn't feel jealous. I felt pity. "Mrs. Martinez," her voice cold. "What do you want?" "I want to talk, woman to woman." Ava hesitated, then opened the door wider. Small but luxurious condo, leather sofa, marble counters, floor-to-ceiling windows. Everything new, expensive, paid for by Nathan. Nathan's not here, Ava said defensively. I know, he's with Isabella. I sat down on the sofa uninvited. Ava's face went pale. Isabella? You didn't know? About Isabella Rodriguez? Arts District condo? Or Melissa Park? Knox Henderson? Ava sat down slowly. I didn't. Nathan said I was the only one. Special. Unique. My forever love. I completed the sentence. He told you that, didn't he? That he'd leave his wife for you? Silence. I handed Ava an envelope. These are copies of the contracts Nathan signed with you, Isabella, and Melissa. Same terms, different dates. Ava opened the envelope with trembling hands. Read. Her face crumbled. No. He loves me. We have plans. What plans? Moving away together? Starting a new life? My voice was gentle, not bitter. Ava, he says that to everyone. It's his script. You're jealous! Ava stood up abruptly. You can't keep your husband, so you're blaming me. I wasn't angry. I understood this reaction. The denial. The defense mechanism when your world collapses. I don't blame you, Ava. I pity you. Because you're being used just like I was. Like Isabella. Like Melissa. I handed her more photos. Screenshots from videos. Not explicit, but enough to show Nathan with different women. Nathan doesn't love you. He doesn't love me. He's incapable of loving anyone. He just collects people like assets. Ava looked at the photos, tears streaming. Why did you come here? To gloat? No. To warn you. And to ask for help. Help? Nathan isn't just cheating. He's doing things that are worse. Much worse. And I need witnesses to stop him. Testify? In court? Ava looked scared. But if I testify, I lose everything. Ava, you'll lose it anyway. When Nathan's arrested, all assets will be frozen. This condo, bought with illegal money, you'll be evicted. I looked into her eyes. Listen to me. I know what you're thinking about yourself. But look at the circumstances. You're 26 years old, with $150,000 in student debt, working retail at minimum wage. Nathan, a wealthy, powerful man 27 years older, approached you with promises to help. He manipulated you step by step. That's not your fault. Ava looked down at her hands. But I agreed. I signed the contract. Because you were desperate, and Nathan knew that. He hunts people like you. Beautiful, smart, but financially vulnerable. I stood up, preparing to leave. You have 24 hours to decide. After that, FBI will come knocking anyway. Better to be a voluntary witness than a suspect. At the door, I turned back. Oh, and Ava, that necklace Nathan promised you? He offered the same one to Isabella last month, and Melissa before that. He has a whole collection in his safe for recycling gifts, waits until one woman leaves, takes back the jewelry, gives it to the next. Used gifts for used women, I said softly. That's how Nathan sees all of us. I left Ava standing there, tears on her face, contract papers scattered on the floor. 2 p.m. Prosecutor meeting Elizabeth's office, but not alone. U.S. Attorney Thomas Bradford, 50s, stern face. Mrs. Martinez, Bradford said. Ms. Reeves briefed me on the situation. I need to see the evidence. I handed over the USB. Bradford plugged it into a secure laptop. Watched videos in silence, his face increasingly grim. After 15 minutes, he stopped. That's enough. This is a federal trafficking case. We'll open an investigation immediately. How quickly can you get an arrest warrant? Elizabeth asked. Normally takes weeks or months, but we have two advantages. He opened a file on his computer. First, Dmitry Volkov. This Russian has been on our radar for 2 years. We know he runs a trafficking network from Eastern Europe, but lacked evidence of U.S. operations. Your videos, Mrs. Martinez. They show exactly that. Nathan is the connection we've been looking for. Second, the meeting. Information about the Martinez-Volkov meeting this Friday to discuss new girls from Moscow. If we wait, there could be more victims. That's exigent circumstances. Elizabeth nodded. So you can expedite? Yes, if we have a cooperating witness, someone inside the operation, we can act in days instead of weeks. I approached one of the women, I said. Ava Chen. She's considering cooperating. Good. If she testifies, combined with video evidence and financial records, Bradford nodded. We can move fast. The meeting ended. I sat in my car in the parking garage, hands shaking. It was happening. Really happening. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Mrs. Martinez, this is Ava. I'll cooperate, but you have to promise to protect me. I replied, I promise. You're doing the right thing. Then a second message. There's something you need to know. Nathan has a meeting tomorrow with Dmitry Volkov, Russian businessman. I heard Nathan mention new girls from Moscow. I think it's related to those videos you showed me. Dmitry Volkov, Russian, Moscow. Worse than I thought. Nathan wasn't just exploiting local women, he was trafficking internationally. I forwarded the text to Bradford immediately. Reply. Volkov on FBI watch list. International trafficking. This is the breakthrough. Accelerating timeline. Stay safe. I drove home, mind spinning. Tomorrow, Nathan meets Volkov. FBI accelerating investigation. Ava cooperating. The pieces were falling into place, but I needed to get through one more night, one more dinner with the monster, one more bedtime story for Ethan while pretending everything was fine. When I got home, Nathan's Mercedes was already in the garage. Time to put on the mask again. Just one more day. Friday morning, 6:00 a.m. Nathan was in the shower when the doorbell rang. Persistent, urgent. Sarah! Someone's at the door! Nathan shouted from the bathroom. I already knew who it was. Elizabeth had called last night. FBI will raid at 6 a.m. Act surprised. Protect Ethan. I opened the door. 6 FBI agents, bulletproof vests, badges. Mrs. Sarah Martinez? Yes? I'm Special Agent Jennifer Walsh, FBI. We have a warrant to search this house and arrest Nathan Martinez. Is he here? He's in the shower. Who is it? Nathan shouted, running downstairs in a bathrobe, hair wet. When he saw the FBI agents, his face went white. Nathan Martinez. Agent Walsh stepped forward. You're under arrest for federal charges of human trafficking, money laundering, and wire fraud. You have the right to remain silent. This is a mistake, Nathan shouted. I'm a legitimate businessman. Mr. Martinez, please cooperate. 2 agents approached with handcuffs. Sarah! Nathan turned to me, desperate. Call the lawyer. This is a witch hunt. Mom, what's happening? Ethan appeared on the stairs, rubbing his eyes. Honey, go to your room. I ran up, blocking Ethan's view. Go to your room, close the door, put on headphones. Mom will explain later. But Mom, they're police? Why are they arresting Dad? My voice was harsher than intended. Sweetheart, please trust me. Go to your room. Now. Ethan flinched, but obeyed. I closed his bedroom door, turned on white noise machine. I stood outside the door for a moment, hands shaking. Deep breath. My son would need me strong. Can't fall apart. Not yet. Downstairs, Nathan was being cuffed, read his Miranda rights. Other agents were spreading throughout the house. Mrs. Martinez, Agent Walsh approached. We need to search the entire premises, including Mr. Martinez's office. I understand. The office is on the first floor, end of the hallway. You'll cooperate with the investigation? I've already been cooperating. I'm the one who provided the initial evidence. Agent Walsh nodded. Prosecutor Bradford informed me. Thank you for your courage. Nathan overheard. His face twisted with rage. You're the one who reported me? Mr. Martinez, silence is your right, Agent Walsh warned. Sarah, you betrayed me. You're destroying this family. No, I said quietly. but each word clear. You destroyed this family 2 years ago. With Ava, with Isabella, with Melissa, with all the other women you exploited. You have no evidence! You're framing me! Nathan's voice was frantic now. The perfect mask of the controlled man had shattered. This was the real Nathan, a predator cornered. I looked into his eyes, eyes that once mesmerized me, and saw nothing but emptiness. You'll regret this, Sarah. You'll have nothing. No money, no career, no life. Without me, you're nobody. The agents began leading Nathan to the door. He was struggling, still shouting. I stepped closer, looked straight into his eyes one last time. Without you, I said softly, I'm free. They took Nathan away. The black SUV drove off with my husband handcuffed in the back. I stood in the doorway, watching until the vehicle disappeared. Then I collapsed on the floor, sobbing. Not for Nathan, for 12 wasted years, for Ethan, who would grow up knowing his father was a monster, for all the women Nathan had hurt. Agent Walsh sat down beside me. Mrs. Martinez, I know this is difficult, but you did the right thing. You saved potential future victims. My son, we have victim services, counselors for families. You and Ethan will get support. A knock on the open door. Elizabeth entered with Margaret, my mother-in-law. Sarah, dear. Margaret ran to me, hugged me tight. I just heard. I came right away. Mom, do you know about Nathan? Margaret nodded, tears in her eyes. Elizabeth called last night. I'm shocked. I can't believe my son did these things. Do you hate me for reporting Nathan? Hate you? Margaret held my face. Dear, I'm proud of you. You had the courage to do the right thing. Nathan, he became a monster. Elizabeth knelt beside us. Sarah, we need to talk about next steps. Custody hearing is scheduled for Monday. I nodded. Margaret went upstairs to talk to Ethan. 2 p.m., FBI interview, small interview room, table, chairs, recording equipment, Agent Walsh and Torres. Mrs. Martinez, walk us through the timeline. I told it from the beginning. The forgotten anniversary night, the Cartier box, the messages, the hotel suites, 3 women, contracts, offshore accounts. When did you access Mr. Martinez's private office? Tuesday morning while he was at work and our son was at school. What did you find? Financial folders with statements from Cayman, Panama, Switzerland, property deeds for 3 condos, contracts with Ava Chen, Isabella Rodriguez, Melissa Park, USB with videos. Anything else? I remembered. Ava Chen mentioned Nathan had a meeting with Volkov today, supposedly to discuss new girls from Moscow. Walsh and Torres exchanged serious looks. We'll need to subpoena phone records. Do you consent? Yes. Whatever helps. The interview lasted 2 hours. Finally, Walsh said, Mrs. Martinez, your testimony corroborates the evidence we've gathered. Combined with Ms. Chen's cooperation and forensic analysis, we have a strong case. Will Nathan go to prison? If convicted on all charges, 20 to 40 years federal prison. Allies emerge. Isabella and Ji Woo. Text from Isabella Rodriguez. Ava told me everything. I need to talk. The next day, Isabella came to Elizabeth's office. She told her story. I met Nathan last year. Texas State grad, 120K student debt, working at Starbucks. Nathan offered to mentor me, then it became a relationship. He gave me a condo, $4,500 month allowance. But gradually, demands appeared. Nathan wanted me to entertain clients, a German businessman named Klaus. I saw Nathan receive $15,000. Isabella showed texts. Nathan sent, Klaus really enjoyed dinner with you. I have another client next week, Senator Morrison. Very important. Isabella replied, Honey, I'm uncomfortable. This feels wrong. Nathan, you're being dramatic. If you can't handle it, you can go back to Starbucks and a studio apartment. Last month, Isabella continued, Nathan took me to a party in Highland Park. 10 wealthy men, 3 other girls. We had to stand in a line while they looked at us, like shopping. One young Russian girl kept crying in the bathroom. Elizabeth took notes rapidly. FBI will want to interview you. Are you willing to testify? If they protect me. Sunday afternoon, Ji-woo Park appeared. A young woman, 28, Korean accent. Mrs. Martinez, my name is Ji-woo Park. I worked as an intern for Nathan 3 years ago. Ava contacted me. I need to tell my story. I invited Ji-woo in. Margaret made tea. I was an international student from Seoul, studying law at SMU. Nathan offered an unpaid internship. He was a mentor at first. Then the relationship became personal. He said he'd sponsor a work visa. After 6 months, Nathan asked me to accompany a client, Mr. Tanaka, to Houston. My blood ran cold. Mr. Tanaka from the videos. Nathan drugged my drink. I woke up in a hotel room with Tanaka. Don't remember what happened, but my body felt violated. Tears streamed down Ji-woo's face. Margaret handed her tissues. Nathan showed me videos from hidden cameras. Said if I told anyone he'd send them to SMU, immigration, my family in Korea. He blackmailed me. Then I got pregnant. Not sure if it was Tanaka's or Nathan's. When I told Nathan, he was furious. He pushed me. I fell, hit the desk corner. Started bleeding. I miscarried alone in the bathroom. Too scared to go to the hospital. I couldn't breathe. Nathan caused her miscarriage. Ji-woo, Elizabeth said gently. The videos Nathan kept, that's a federal crime. You have the right to justice. I want to testify, for myself, for the other women he hurt, and for the baby I lost. Ji-woo added, there's something else. Nathan has a storage unit, number 847 in North Dallas. He called it insurance, and he mentioned a name, John Whitmore, assistant director at the Labor Department, in our pocket. Elizabeth immediately called Walsh. We have another breakthrough, potentially corrupt government official and a storage unit full of evidence. I stood before the Dallas Federal Courthouse, marble columns, high ceilings, armed marshals everywhere. I wore a simple navy suit, minimal makeup, wedding ring removed. Elizabeth beside me. Behind us, Margaret, Ji-woo, Isabella. Ava couldn't attend, too afraid of Nathan. I heard the chains clinking as Nathan entered. I turned to look. He was in an orange jumpsuit, shackled. Looking older somehow, graying, tired. His eyes found mine across the courtroom. Not apologetic, angry, betrayed. I saw Marcus Wade, Nathan's attorney, expensive suit, silver hair, the confident look of someone used to fighting dirty. Judge Patricia Morrison presiding, 60s, stern. Elizabeth had warned me, she doesn't suffer fools. Court is now in session. Case of United States versus Nathan Martinez. Mr. Wade, I understand you filed an emergency motion? I heard Wade stand, his voice confident. Yes, Your Honor. We move to suppress all evidence obtained by Mrs. Martinez through illegal search of Mr. Martinez's private office. Furthermore, we allege Mrs. Martinez colluded with FBI to fabricate charges. I felt my blood boiling. Colluded? Fabricated? Ms. Reeves, response? Elizabeth stood beside me. Your Honor, Mrs. Martinez didn't break in. She accessed a room in her own home using a key whose location she knew. Texas Family Code allows spouses reasonable access to marital property. Discovery of crimes creates a public policy exception. I heard Wade counter. Mr. Martinez had reasonable expectation of privacy in a locked office. Elizabeth. Not when that privacy shields criminal activity. Judge Morrison looked at me. I'll hear testimony. Mrs. Martinez, approach. I stood up, legs shaking, walked to the witness stand, placed my hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. my voice steadier than I felt. Elizabeth began asking questions, voice gentle. Mrs. Martinez, describe the events leading to discovery. I took a deep breath and began. I spent the whole afternoon preparing for our 12th anniversary dinner. Nathan came home late, had completely forgotten. I heard a woman laughing through the phone. Then I found a Cartier box in his vest pocket. I opened the box. Inside was a diamond necklace engraved, "To Ava, my forever love, N. Not my name." I heard whispers spread through the courtroom. Then I found a second phone, messages from Ava, and not just Ava, Isabella, Melissa, Sophie too. Elizabeth, why did you enter your husband's office? Because his behavior indicated something seriously wrong. I needed to understand if my son and I were in danger. I found offshore accounts, property deeds for condos I didn't know existed, contracts with 3 women, and USB drives with videos showing transactions involving women and money. Did you break any locks? No, I used a key whose location I knew. Did you damage property? No. Did you remove anything? I photographed documents and uploaded USB contents to secure cloud storage, then returned everything to original locations. Wade's turn to cross-examine. I watched him stand, circling like a predator. Mrs. Martinez, you claim the forgotten anniversary was the catalyst. But you've known about marital problems for years, haven't you? We had challenges like any marriage. Challenges like your husband working late, taking business trips, normal business activities you suddenly decided were suspicious. I became suspicious when I found expensive jewelry for another woman. Ah, yes, the Cartier box. How convenient. Did you photograph this box? No, So we only have your word it existed? It exists. It's in evidence. Found where? Nathan's vest pocket. Which you admit going through without permission. Isn't that invasion of privacy? It was a vest left in our living room. Answer yes or no. Did you have explicit permission to search the pockets? No. So you violated privacy, found jewelry you claim was for a mistress, and used that as excuse to commit further violations, entering a locked office, accessing a private computer, stealing documents. I wasn't stealing. I was discovering truth. Truth or manufacturing evidence? Mrs. Martinez, what's your degree in? I don't have a completed degree. I left school when pregnant with Ethan. So no professional expertise, no forensic training, no law enforcement background. Yet you somehow perfectly documented evidence exactly the way FBI would need it. Quite coincidental. I photographed what I found. FBI documented chain of custody after I reported. Wade produced a document. Your Honor, phone records show Mrs. Martinez contacted attorney Elizabeth Reeves 2 days before entering the office. Planning already underway? Elizabeth objected. Irrelevant. Consulting an attorney about marital issues is not conspiracy. It shows premeditation, Wade argued. Mrs. Martinez didn't accidentally discover evidence. She went hunting with her lawyer's guidance, specifically to destroy my client. Judge Morrison. Mr. Wade, discovery of actual crimes is not destruction. If evidence is authentic, which forensics confirm, motive for discovery is secondary. Wade switched tactics. Mrs. Martinez, you claim videos show trafficking. Did you watch entire videos? Portions. How many videos? 5 or 6. Out of how many total? I don't know, dozens maybe. So you watched a small fraction, jumped to conclusions, and reported your husband to FBI for crimes you didn't fully investigate? What I saw was enough. Enough for you, an untrained civilian, to determine guilt? Isn't it possible the videos show legal business transactions you misinterpreted? The women appeared frightened. Money was exchanged. Business deals involve money, Mrs. Martinez. That's not a crime. Elizabeth stood. Your Honor, may I redirect? Proceed. Mrs. Martinez, why did you believe your son was in danger? Because the videos showed Nathan involved with dangerous people. International criminals. I feared for Ethan's safety if Nathan continued these activities around our child. Did you profit from reporting? No. I lost home security, my marriage. Ethan lost his father. What motivated you? Protecting my son and stopping Nathan from hurting more women. Elizabeth sat. Wade had no further questions. Judge Morrison. Motion to suppress is denied. Evidence obtained by a spouse in the marital home during investigation of potential crimes is admissible, particularly when verified by independent forensic analysis. Furthermore, Mr. Wade's claims of conspiracy are unsupported. Court finds no evidence of tampering or collusion. We proceed to preliminary hearing. Mr. Bradford, present the government's case. Prosecution witnesses, through Sarah's eyes. I sat quietly as Agent Walsh took the stand. Heard her describe the investigation. $8.3 million hidden in offshore accounts. Forensic analysis. Then Ji Woo was called up. I watched her walk to the witness stand, hands trembling. I heard Ji Woo testify in a shaking voice. Nathan drugged my drink. I woke up in a hotel room with Tanaka. Don't remember what happened, but my body felt violated. I saw tears streaming down Ji Woo's face as she recounted the miscarriage. I miscarried alone in the bathroom, too scared to go to the hospital because Nathan threatened to call immigration. I looked around the courtroom. Several jury members wiping tears, an older woman shaking her head in disgust. I heard Wade cross-examine Ji Woo brutally, but she stood firm. Then Isabella took the stand. I heard her describe. Nathan arranged a party in Highland Park. 10 wealthy men, 3 other girls and me. We had to stand in a line while they looked at us, like shopping. I saw Isabella show emails, Nathan's messages about entertaining clients, about coercion. Ava appeared via video call. I watched her face on the large screen. Heard her say, Nathan treated us like employees, like assets. We had value based on how useful we were. I heard an FBI agent describe the storage unit. We found 23 additional USB drives, 30-plus files on women with photos, personal information, assessments written in Mr. Martinez's handwriting, and detailed ledgers. I watched the screen projection, Nathan's neat handwriting, 3:15:23, Klaus Müller, Isabella, dinner, plus overnight, $15,000. 4:10:23, Tanaka, new girl, Mai, full night, $25,000. Dozens of entries like this, multiple years, multiple women, all documented like accounting books. Ruling. I stood as Judge Morrison read the decision. Motion to dismiss denied. Evidence gathered by a spouse in the marital home during investigation of potential crimes is admissible. Claims of conspiracy are baseless. I felt relief flood through me. We proceed to preliminary hearing. After 4 hours of testimony, I heard Judge Morrison declare, Court finds probable cause that Nathan Martinez engaged in human trafficking, money laundering, wire fraud. Defendant bound over for trial. Trial date set for April 15th. Defendant remanded to federal custody. Bail denied. I heard Nathan explode. This is injustice! My wife framed me! Those women are lying! I watched marshals restrain him. As Nathan was dragged out, I heard him shout at me, You'll regret this! Ethan will hate you! I watched the doors close. Silence. Margaret hugged me. It's done, dear. You did it. But I knew it wasn't done. Still the divorce trial. Custody battle. Civil suits. Wednesday. Custody trial. I walked into family court with Ethan, who had insisted on coming. I want to tell the judge, Mom. I want to explain. Judge Richard Barnes presiding, late 50s, warm but serious expression. I heard Wade begin. Nathan Martinez is innocent until proven guilty, yet Ethan has been kept from him for 5 days without opportunity for visitation. We request immediate supervised visitation. I heard Elizabeth counter. Devoted father claim rings hollow when father was systematically exploiting women. Evidence shows Mr. Martinez maintained a secret life involving criminal activity and dangerous international associates. Ethan deserves to know his father, but not while father faces serious federal charges. Judge Barnes. I'll hear from Dr. Chen, then interview Ethan privately. I heard Dr. Chen testify. Ethan Martinez is experiencing acute stress response. Forcing immediate contact could cause additional trauma. I recommend gradual reintroduction only if therapeutically appropriate, minimum 6 weeks. Then Ethan was taken to private chambers with the judge. I waited outside 30 minutes, stomach churning, wondering what my son was saying. When they returned, I saw Ethan. He looked tired, but calmer. I heard Judge Barnes read the decision. After speaking with Ethan, considering Dr. Chen's testimony, and reviewing FBI evidence, court orders, sole legal and physical custody to Sarah Martinez, supervised visitation for Nathan Martinez may be requested after 60 days, contingent on counseling, no unsupervised contact. I heard Wade object, but it was overruled. Gavel banged. Done. Outside court, I held Ethan's hand. He was quiet. Mom, does this mean I don't see Dad for a long time? Not for a while, sweetheart. But if Dad proves he's safe, maybe later. I miss Dad, even though he did bad things. That's okay, honey. You're allowed to love Dad and still be upset with him. Margaret suggested ice cream. We tried to pretend life was normal. Ethan's phone buzzed. He showed me a text. Ethan, this is Dad. They won't let Dad call. Mom is lying about Dad. Don't believe Mom. Dad loves you. Dad. I saw tears in his eyes. Is Mom lying? My heart broke. Nathan was manipulating even from jail. Honey, the court saw evidence. Judge Barnes decided what's safe for you. Dad isn't happy with the decision, so he's trying to make Mom look bad. Elizabeth immediately reported it. Judge Barnes issued an order. Any further contact, Esel's contempt charges. I walked into federal court a second time, this time for the actual trial. I saw media swarming outside like ants, headlines everywhere. Dallas businessman trafficking trial. I took my seat, watching Nathan being led in. He'd cleaned up, suit, haircut, trying to look respectable. But I knew the evidence was overwhelming. Prosecution. I heard Prosecutor Bradford present. Financial records tracing $8.3 million through offshore accounts. Videos were played, edited for court but clear enough. I watched contracts from Ava, Isabella, Melissa being presented. Witnesses. I heard Jiwoo recount her story, being drugged, assaulted, the miscarriage. I saw the jury crying as she described miscarrying alone in the bathroom. I heard Isabella. Nathan took me to a party in Highland Park. We were displayed like merchandise. He treated us like property. I heard Ava. He doesn't love anyone. He collects people. We had value based on how useful we were. I heard Melissa. Every hospital payment for my daughter, I owed him more. I heard FBI present a global network map. Mr. Martinez is a node in an international trafficking network. Defense. I heard Wade try to paint the women as willing participants. Heard Nathan testify. Girlfriends not trafficked, gifts not payments. But I watched prosecution tear it apart. Nathan couldn't explain offshore money, rotation schedules, contracts, ledgers from the storage unit. I heard FBI play a recorded call. Nathan Volkov discussing new merchandise from Moscow. Nathan's moment. There was a moment. I saw Nathan look toward me, voice trembling. I loved Sarah. Truly. But somewhere I started measuring everything by money, status, power. Love became transactional. I don't know when I lost the ability to see people as people. For an instant, I saw the man I once loved, lost, confused, but I heard Bradford tear into it immediately. You accidentally exploited dozens of women for years? I watched that moment disappear. Nathan defensive again. Verdict, 2 days of waiting. I couldn't sleep. When called back to court, I sat down, gripping Elizabeth's hand. I heard the jury foreman read, "Human trafficking, guilty. Money laundering, guilty. Wire fraud, guilty. 15 charges total. Guilty on 14. Acquitted only on one technicality." I watched Nathan. He showed no emotion. Empty. Sentencing. 2 weeks later. I heard Judge Morrison. Mr. Martinez abused power, showed no remorse, manipulated his son from jail. 28 years federal prison plus lifetime supervision, $4.2 million restitution. Register as sex offender upon release. I heard Nathan's final reaction. Tears, voice breaking. "I have a son." I heard Morrison. "You should have thought about your son before committing these crimes. Take defendant into custody." I watched marshals lead Nathan away. As he passed, our eyes met one last time. I felt no anger left in my heart, just emptiness. A man who lost everything because he treated people like property. Outside, I faced reporters. "How do you feel?" "Relieved. Justice has been served." "Do you hate your ex-husband?" I paused, thinking. I don't hate him. I pity him. He had everything and threw it away because he couldn't see women as human beings. That's tragic. I felt Elizabeth pull me to the car. 1 year later, I sat in the small office of Safe Harbor Consulting, the NPO I founded with Elizabeth and Margaret. I looked at photos on the wall. Ji Woo, now an immigration lawyer. Isabella curating art exhibits about trauma. Ava with her social work degree. Melissa running support groups. All survivors, all thriving. The phone rang. Safe Harbor Consulting, Sarah speaking. "Mrs. Martinez? I'm Jennifer Wu. I saw your story online. I think my boyfriend is doing similar things. I need help." "Tell me everything. We'll help you." Third call like this week. I felt proud. Nathan's case had opened a national conversation. The door opened. I saw Ethan, now 12 years old, taller, more mature. "Mom, I got an A on my history project." "That's wonderful, sweetheart." I hugged him. "And Dr. Chen said I'm ready to write a letter to Dad." I felt my stomach tighten. "A letter?" "Not a visit, just a letter. Dr. Chen says expressing emotions is healthy. If Dr. Chen thinks you're ready, then okay." I watched Ethan sit down and write. "Dear Dad, sometimes I miss you. But I'm also angry. Dr. Chen says it's okay to love someone and still be disappointed. I hope prison helps you become a better person. Maybe someday we can talk. But not yet. Ethan." I felt tears blur my vision. Simple, honest, healing. Margaret arrived. "Dear, the divorce is final. Court approved." I felt relief wash over me. Elizabeth arrived with champagne. "Celebrating. Safe Harbor's first year. 43 women helped. 12 found jobs. 8 returned to school. 3 started businesses." We raised glasses. "To justice." Margaret. "To healing." Elizabeth. "To truth." Ethan. "To freedom." Me. That evening, I sat alone and wrote in my journal. A year ago, my life exploded. Could have kept silent. Instead, I chose truth. Silence nurtures evil. Speaking up saves lives. Nathan got 28 years. I got freedom. From lies, fear, complicity. The woman who found that Cartier box, lost, scared. She's gone. In her place, warrior, survivor, voice. Life now. Simple, honest, real. I wouldn't wish this journey on anyone. But if given the choice to go back to ignorance, never. Because some truths must be spoken, some evils must be stopped. Sometimes the bravest thing, look at the person you love and say, "No more lies, no more silence, never again." I closed the journal, turned off the light. I looked out the window, Dallas skyline twinkling, the city that witnessed my fall and rise. Tomorrow, Another day, another battle. But tonight, I sleep peacefully. Free. Finally. Completely free.